Hello, and welcome to Appleton Engaged. I'm your host, Timber Smith, DEI coordinator for the city of Appleton.
And I'm Andy Anam, the communications manager for the city.
And Appleton Engaged is a podcast that explores the many people, organizations, and resources that make our community a great place to live, work, and play. So whether you're a longtime resident or just getting to know Appleton, join us as we learn more about our community together.
That's right. We are here to bring you the stories of incredible individuals, organizations, and initiatives that are shaping the very fabric of this community. So who is our next guest?
We got another great guest.
Yes.
And this week's guest is Oliver Zornow, Executive Director of Building for Kids Children's Museum. What's going on, Oliver?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Can you please tell us about yourself and your association with Appleton and the Fox Cities region?
Sure. How much time do we have?
Oh, we got time.
Okay. So I'm a Fox Cities native. My family born in Little Chute. Spent a lot of time growing up in Appleton. Grew up in Oshkosh a little bit, but ended up graduating from high school here in Appleton and then went to Lawrence University. My wife and I, after Lawrence, we decided we were done. We were ready to move out. Moved out of Appleton, moved out of the country, never coming back, sold everything we owned.
Whoa, out of the country?
Yeah, we moved to Eswatini, a country in southern Africa.
Wow.
And 2 years there, we decided, where do we want to go? We started doing some research of places in the world that might be awesome. And every month we'd go to town, get on the internet, do a little bit of research. We had Post-its all over our wall of all the places in the world that we could live. As we got closer to going home, we ripped Post-its off when things weren't making it. And what was left up there? Appleton.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
So Appleton 1 is the best place in the world to live. We decided to come back. We told the realtor 10 blocks from Houdini Plaza. So we live 10 blocks from Houdini Plaza. And we've made Appleton and downtown Appleton our home. And now we've got our kids here and spend almost all of our time here.
That is fantastic.
That's wonderful. Incredible.
That's actually one of the best boomerang stories I've heard, right? Because that happens. There's a lot of boomerang individuals that were born and raised in Appleton or lived here at some point, and then they left, and then I call it the boomerang effect.
I'll tell you, I think that it can be important. You can stay and appreciate it. But when I came back, my brother was still living here, and he wasn't super satisfied where he was at, and he told me he had a dream. He said, you're not going to achieve that dream sitting here. Quit your job. Go find a place to achieve that dream. And worst case scenario, you end up on my couch for a few months after you fall on your face, and then, you'll get back into what you're doing now. But worst case scenario, you tried. And he went out and he achieved his dream for several years. But then when he started a family, he moved right back down here to Appleton on Law Street. So,
Wow, that's awesome.
because it is the best place.
Yes, it is. And that philosophy of traveling and coming back to where you are, I think that's a great way to look at life.
Oliver, can you please tell us about your organization?
Sure. The Building for Kids Children's Museum. We've been in the same building that City Hall is in for the last 30 years. We were founded in 1992. Is the largest children's museum in the state of Wisconsin. And a fun little fact is that Wisconsin has the highest concentration of children's museums per capita in the country.
Wow.
So
For real?
for real. And Appleton's got one of the biggest in Wisconsin.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. But our mission at the museum is to inspire discovery and build resiliency through intergenerational play-based learning and exploration of the arts, sciences, and humanities. We do that with 30,000 square feet of interactive play-based learning space here in this building, as well as programming and opportunities throughout the community.
So who do you primarily serve? It's only the children, or, there's a certain age group within the children ranges?
Yeah, so I would say that one really cool thing about children's museums is it's a space about kids, right, for kids. But we recognize that kids don't exist in a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to support kids, you need to support families. And so at the Building for Kids, I tell adults coming in all the time, there is not a thing in this space that is designed for kids to use that isn't also designed for you to do. I tell some sort of hesitant parents, I've seen really big guys up in the climbing nets jumping up and down. That they can make that work. And so as long as you can fit in there, you can get up there, right? And so it's a space for kids to engage in intergenerational play. So it's for all ages. And the design is there to help, because when adults participate in a child's play, participate, not take over, right? When an adult participates in child's play, it elevates that level of play and the level of development that child receives from that play.
I like the point that you point out about the participation of families and parents. I was going to say, as someone who, since we're closely located, we're neighbors, professional neighbors, when I see people walking into the children or into the building for kids, those parents have just as much glee on their faces as the children do.
Absolutely.
Like they're like, yes,
we're here.
We're here.
It is a really special space. And, in Appleton, we take it for granted a little bit. So we were founded in 1992, and in the first 10 weeks of the museum being open, we had 50,000 people come to the museum. And I was one of those kids. I was 4 years old, and I came to see the Dinosaurs Alive exhibit in those first 10 weeks. And so, but we take it for granted. People who live in Appleton or the Fox Cities, they come to the museum sometimes twice a week. But we also reach, in the last year, we've had visitors from 46 states, District of Columbia.
Wow.
Almost every county in the state of Wisconsin is well represented on our visitor list. We have members of the museum that live in Wausau or Manitowoc or the UP. We have field trips that come from as far away from as Milwaukee come up. And so this is a special place, and it's a pretty awesome thing. And so some of those folks you see coming in, this is the big event of the year, right, to come to this space. And so
I would agree with that.
So tell us more about the new exhibit, Follow the Beat to East Asia.
Okay, Follow the Beat to East Asia. So this is a cool exhibit. We're actually opening and refreshing 4 exhibits in the next 12 months. And so was it just this week we opened Follow the Beat to East Asia? It's a partnership with the Freeman Foundation and the Association of Children's Museums. They developed these exhibits to help showcase the role percussion plays in the musical heritage of East Asian countries, China, Japan, and Korea. And it's an interactive opportunity for kids and families to explore those musical instruments and styles, but then also it gives us a platform to connect with local community here in Appleton to help not only amplify the voice of those communities. So at the opening, we had the Northeast Wisconsin Chinese Association there sharing about their culture, their heritage, what they're proud of. And what was really powerful about that opening is that one of those NUCA members was walking out with one of our staff members and shared that it's so special to have a space that their son can see that heritage in their community where they're growing up. And they look for those constantly, and this is one of those opportunities for them. So it's about creating belonging, but then also for everyone, people not of East Asian heritage, an opportunity to learn, to celebrate, and discover.
It seems like there's a lot of thoughtfulness that goes into these exhibits. What are some of the other exhibits that exist?
Well, we've got some coming up. I'll give you a little bit of that. So the next exhibit that's opening in September is called Food to Grow. This is a really exciting partnership that we've been working on for over 2 years with a wide collection of community stakeholders. It really came out of the response that we know that the health and wellness of kids and our families is a serious concern that our community needs to work on. And we want to talk about ways that we can celebrate food, amplify and acknowledge and support a wide variety of food cultures while encouraging understanding that helps people have a greater variety of nutritionally valuable foods in their diets. And so we've created this interactive Food to Grow exhibit, which includes a farm market, a food pantry, a kitchen, a table, and it's really focused around this idea of food sourcing, food equity, food culture, or the cultural significance of those foods and the food choices that we make and the impacts that those have.
That's a phenomenal thought, which is going into these exhibits. And what are other exhibits coming up?
So we're working on a couple projects that I don't know if I can share names of yet, but we've got a really exciting exhibit opening up in partnership with a number of folks next spring. We haven't announced it yet, but it's going to have a lot to do with encouraging kids to discover by asking questions and using natural sciences to find answers to those questions.
Incredible. So listeners, you need to check out the new exhibits which is coming up in the Building for Kids. It's a phenomenal place to explore, both for the kids and for the adults. And Children Week is coming too. I saw that outside, that the boards are there. So tell us more about the Children Week and what's the participation of Building for Kids in that particular parade.
Yeah, so Children's Week is a week-long celebration of kids and families through free and low-cost opportunities. The mayor declares Children's Week in Appleton. This will be the 14th Children's Week. That's coming up last week in July, so July 23rd to the 29th. The Building for Kids is one of the three main partners in Children's Week. It's a partnership with the Appleton Park and Rec Department, the Appleton YMCA, and the Building for Kids. And each of those partners hosts events as well as other community stakeholders hold those events. We have over 50 events planned this year. The Building for Kids signature event is the Building for Kids Downtown Appleton Children's Parade. When it first started, we called it the largest children's museum, or the largest children's parade in Wisconsin. And I think we just weren't aware if there were any others. So I don't know what metrics they go off of in measuring those, but maybe we'll still call it that.
When unsure, just claim it.
Claim it. Yes. I think that it's what that is it's 1,000 kids and grown-ups marching down College Avenue in homemade or store-bought costumes, non-motorized floats, sometimes stick a streamer on a bike or a balloon on a stroller, and they march down College Avenue and they end at City Park with a big party, food trucks and activities and music, and it's an awesome opportunity for kids to have a great time. But it also carries a really strong meaning, and that is Appleton has a strong parade heritage. And we've got, the largest, longest running Flag Day parade. There's all kinds of qualifiers on the holiday parade, but it's the biggest of something, right? Mm-hmm. And we've been running these parades, and we're so proud of these parades. And we often invite kids to come to parades. And what do we do at parades? What do we put in the middle of the street? We put in the middle of the street what the community cares about. Mm-hmm. And at the Children's Parade, what we put in the middle of the street is the kids. And it's just yet another example of why Appleton is such a great place to raise a family, is that the Building for Kids is where the addresses start in the city. We are at the intersection where the addresses start. North, south, east, and west are right here. And our Children's Parade puts our kids in the middle of the street for everyone to come and see what they've come up with. So it's a really powerful day.
It is. And I'm so much excited to come down and take pictures of that event.
Yeah, can I quick say that the Children's Parade is an absolutely free event. So if you want to be in it, you go to our website, you register. That just gets you a number so that the judges can keep tally. And Timber was a judge once.
Yes, I was. And it was a great time. And I was so impressed by some of those costumes.
Yeah. Or if you just want to come on down that night and watch, that's perfectly fine.
We are coming.
Oliver, can you share a narrative that will help our listeners understand the importance of the Building for Kids?
Yeah, I think, I've been there a long time and it's been a part of my life. And so I could share my whole life story. And I think that the Children's Museum has played a role in all of those pieces. But there's one story that comes to mind, and it's the story that was shared with us by one of our access partners. So the Building for Kids, a lot of folks come in the door and, there's an admission charge to come into the Building for Kids. But we have a long-standing and strong commitment to ensuring that we overcome those barriers to participation through our Access for All initiative. But one of our access partners that we were working with shared this story of one of their clients who had just left shelter, had been homeless, and had been fleeing domestic abuse, was getting back on their feet, single mom, but was struggling a lot, and utilized a partnership that we had with that client-serving organization to come to the museum, and was sitting in our art studio painting a picture with their son, and started talking to the woman next to her. Now, what happened was that woman, who was really struggling, started talking with the woman next to her, found out the woman next to her 8 years before was in the exact same spot, had just moved out of shelter, was really struggling. But that week, that woman that was 8 years ahead was closing on her own house.
Wow.
And that friendship formed between the two of them. They came every week to the museum, met in that art studio while their kids painted. They found support. They found belonging. They found connection, and they found encouragement that helped that person turn their story around.
That's powerful.
And it is. It's just a powerful example of what happens every single day when we connect with our community, when we connect with each other in a space that is safe for us. And beyond what happened between those two women, those kids not only saw the resiliency of their moms, but those kids learned how to connect, how to express themselves, and were engaged in learning throughout the whole process as well. So,
what are the ways that the community can get involved with the Building for Kids?
yeah, so there's so many ways to get involved. You know, the Building for Kids is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We rely on volunteer board of directors, committee members, volunteers that support daily operations. Today, we've got Explorer Camp, summer camps happening, and we've got volunteers working with our staff to support those campers' success. So there's always volunteer opportunities to get involved, and you can reach out to us on our website or call us at our phone number in order to learn about those opportunities. The big ask we have for the community right now, though, is to support our Access initiative. Coming through the pandemic and out of the pandemic, we talked about our commitment to ensuring that those financial barriers and other barriers of invitation, communication, transportation, and accommodation are also met for every family to have access. That takes resources to do. And so we have what's called the Access for All Scholarship Fund that we raise funds throughout the year to support. And folks can just go to give.buildingforkids.org/access and donate to help another family who can't afford to come. The need is really great in our community. More than 25% of the people who come to the Building for Kids do not pay the admission fee.
Oh. So listeners, if you're listening to this, go to give.buildingforkids.org/access to find more about these opportunities. Please, please, please do volunteer with such a wonderful organization. And who can people contact you? How can people contact you if they want to learn more? Is there a person in charge they can reach out to?
Some people say that I'm in charge, but the best...
We don't want to overwhelm you with the responses because...
that might be a big response.
The best way is, if you're looking for more information about what's going on, head over to our website. Our marketing team does a great job of keeping that updated, or connect with us on social. You can always stop in the museum and check in at the front desk, and we're always happy to help. Or give us a call at 920-734-3226. Again, 920-734-3226. I know phone calls are kind of going out of style, but that's our preferred way to connect with folks.
All right. Give a call to Oliver. No, to the Building for Kids. And
everybody's just going to be asking, can I speak to Oliver?
yes.
Oliver, do you have any shout outs that you'd like to do?
Yeah. I'll shout out to the team at the Building for Kids, the partners that we work with in the community, and the volunteers that make it all run, from our board all the way down to the folks helping out with camp today. So we're really grateful. None of this work can happen with 1 or 2 or 20 people. It really takes an entire community to make something like the Building for Kids possible. And we're just so grateful to be in Appleton.
Thank you. And now it's time for us to start wrapping up. Listeners, we are a work in progress. Once again, every week, please let us know how we are doing. Reach out to us at diversity@appleton.org. Once again, that is diversity@appleton.org. Take the time. Let us know if we're doing a good job, or maybe you would like to be a guest, or maybe you have a suggestion for a future guest. But please, please, please take the time to reach out to us. Also, do not hesitate to leave us a review. Leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. This show is for you, so take the time, fill out a review, and also subscribe. Subscribing helps the podcast analytics so other people can learn about this podcast. And because we think we got something pretty special going on here, we want to make sure that everyone in the community can learn about it.
This has been the Appleton Engage podcast. Thank you for being part of the community. Stay connected, keep exploring, and remember to share the knowledge and resources you have discovered with others. We'll catch you in the next episode.